Your garden is an extension of your home, which means it's also an extension of your smart home. So why not fill it full of gadgets? Well, over the last year or so, we've been trying to tidy our garden up a bit. It's not the neatest of gardens, we're not really garden people, but we are trying to make it look a little bit nicer. And while we've been doing that, I've been trying to sneak in a few gadgets here or there. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour of our garden and show you what I've managed to do with it. Now, this is not a sponsored video, but some of the gadgets I'm going to show you were sent to me to review in other videos. So what I thought I'd do for total transparency is I'm going to put a little overlay on the screen, and that will tell you if I actually paid for the item or whether it was sent to me for free, just so as you know where we stand on that. I don't know if that noise is going to get picked up on the microphone actually, but the bird noise is quite loud this morning. I got up early to try and avoid all the noise in the village, but that plan hasn't worked out. But anyway, the first gadget I want to show you is just up there on the fence. That is my Ecowitt weather station. It does rain detection, it does wind direction and speed, it does temperature, humidity, air pressure and light levels, so as it knows how bright the sun is at the moment, cloud coverage, that sort of thing. But the main reason I got it was I thought that knowing if it was raining or not might be a very useful thing for the smart home to know. So if it was raining, you might not mow the lawns that day. So let's say, has it rained in the last 24 hours? If so, don't cut the lawns. You could link that to a robot lawnmower, and that would help you automate whether you were going to mow the lawns or not, because if the lawns got wet in the last 24 hours and a robot lawnmower goes on it, it could churn it up a bit. That's not a good idea. Now, that isn't placed ideally. I've stuck it up on that fence there because it was the best place I could find. But for wind purposes, it's blocked by the trees on that side, houses there, houses there, houses there, trees there. It knows if it's quite windy or not very windy at all. It doesn't really understand the direction it's coming from because it just gets whipped up in a great big circle in this back garden. So this is the dashboard that I've put together for monitoring my garden. And as you can see here, right in the middle is a section just for the weather station. And if I just go in and edit that, you can see this card here is called the Windrose card. Now you can get this on Hacks, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. So you just install it using Hacks and you can tell it the wind direction, you can tell it the speed and the gust of the winds that's all coming from that sensor, and then you can say what periods you want it to display data over, and loads of configuration stuff, including some extra corner info. So you can see in the top left I've got wind direction, that's 130 degrees, wind speed, this little is it raining thing. So at the moment it is not raining because it's quite warm and sunny out, but if it was raining you can say how much is it raining. So I click on save there and done. I can show you on here, we can see what the wind was doing in the last hour. We can say what's it been doing today, and it's been quite varied, but mostly coming from the northeast sort of direction there. We've got these little scales on the right that show you the force of the wind on the Beaufort scale. So at the moment there's no wind at all really, and then the gust speeds as well, which I find quite interesting personally. The problem is my weather station is not mounted in a very good position to get accurate wind, but if you did have it mounted in a good place, then this wind card would be absolutely brilliant. So other data I'm showing that I need is the temperature. So you can see I've got this temperature graph that's coming from that weather station, and the sun illuminance, so it's giving me a lux reading there. But if you go and look at the actual device for the Ecowitt weather station, you've got absolutely loads of data you can pull in and use for, well, whatever you need really. So I've got like the humidity there if I need it. I've got feels like temperature, solar radiation as well, so it does it in watts per meter squared if you needed that sort of data, and how much rain have we had this year. So it reckons 99.8 millimeters since I installed it, or 38.8 millimeters of rain this week. So let's talk about the greenhouse next. Now this used to be where our shed was before I moved it down to the bottom of the garden over there. The shed was sort of falling apart, it had gone a bit rotten, so we had to get rid of it anyway. And we thought we'd put a greenhouse in. Now this greenhouse is from a company called the Greenhouse People, and I'll put a link to them down in the description. It's not a sponsored review or anything, it's just what we thought was the best one. My brother bought a greenhouse from the same company and he quite liked it, so we bought one the same. Now this is a 6x4 greenhouse. It's quite a small one, and it did take me about 2 weeks to build actually, because I got to get the sort of foundations sort of leveled out and building all the different bits. It was quite complex and I cut my hands a lot doing that. But yeah, let's go inside and have a look, because you've got this nice sliding door here, so come on in. So as we walk into the greenhouse itself, you can see we're growing some courgettes over on that side, and there are some tomato plants just here. Now the greenhouse itself, it's not really smart, but it has got this automatic vent here which will open when it gets too hot, and just down the bottom here you've got a manual vent that we can open and close with a handle if we need a bit more ventilation. But smart features. Right, let's start off with this little sensor that I've put down here. Oh, that was a nasty squeak. Right, this is the what is it? It's a SwitchBot Meter Pro. Now I don't really know if this is actually suitable for going in a greenhouse. It does say it can go in a greenhouse on the website, but if you look there you can actually see the batteries showing through in the battery holder, so it's definitely not fully IP rated in any form of that at all, but you can see it's saying the temperature and the humidity, and it's reporting that back to Home Assistant using Bluetooth, and it does work quite well at the moment. I did actually have it mounted on here, but I forgot that a greenhouse is made of glass, so the sun comes through, hits the temperature sensor, and it just skyrockets up to like 40 degrees or something stupid. So we've put it down here, just there on this tray, and if I put it just there, then I can actually see it from the outside. Keep an eye on it there, and I can actually see it from the window of my house as well, so I can just glance out of the kitchen window and see what the temperature is in the greenhouse. Not that it really matters too much, but we are keeping an eye on it there and in Home Assistant. Now, when you're growing plants in a greenhouse, one of the biggest problems is keeping them watered. Now, at the moment, you can see there is clearly no smart irrigation system here whatsoever. That is something that I do want to add. But if we have a look in this pot here, oh, it's all going out of focus. In fact, you see that little gadget there? Let's look at the one down here actually in the tomatoes, because it's easier to get to. Now look at this. This is a soil moisture sensor. I'm going to take that out so as I can show it to you better. Now I've labelled this one tomatoes there. Now this is also made by Ecowitt. That's the same company that make the weather station, and it connects to the same base station. They've got like this little hub that it all connects to, that then relays that onto Home Assistant. So this little sensor sits in the plant pot down here and tells us the water percentage, or the moisture percentage of the soil in this plant pot. Now we've only got two. We've got one in the tomatoes there, and we've got the other one in the courgettes just there as a bit of an experiment. I mean, in an ideal world you'd want to have them in every single pot possible, so as you can keep an eye on every single plant, but the reality is at, well, just under 17 quid a pop, I'm not going to be spending that on every single plant, so we just want a rough guide as to whether it's any good. So obviously I want to take all that data I'm getting from those sensors in the greenhouse, and I want to show them on my dashboard. So I've made this little greenhouse card here. Now for those gauges here, you can see this is showing me the moisture level of the soil in those pots, and it's showing it on a little scale here. So this little arrowhead here is in the green at the moment, which means it's perfect for these plants. Now what I had to do is Google a lot to find out what the ideal moisture level was for soil in a pot for courgettes and for tomatoes. Now they are different, but what I've done, let me show you the configuration of the courgette one. It is a stack in card, so it's two different cards, one on top of the other. The first one is a mushroom template card that just says the word courgettes, soil moisture, and it's got a little picture of a courgette that I uploaded. I just grabbed that off Google Images. And then a little bit of card mod CSS styling there to get rid of the borders around it, because if I get rid of that, you'll see you get a border around it, so you really do need that code there. Underneath we have just a gauge showing the soil moisture level for the courgette moisture sensor. That's difficult to say actually. And then we've got some segments here. So between 0 and 29 it'll be in the red, between 30 and 40 it's in the green, and 41 upwards it's in the red again. So my Googling tells me that between 30 to 40% soil moisture is perfect for courgettes. I could be totally wrong on that, but that is what my searching tells me. And if I cancel that and we look at the tomatoes, between 25 and 35 is the right sort of level for tomatoes. So also in the greenhouse was that SwitchBot temperature and humidity display, the SwitchBot Meter Pro I think it was called, and that is showing me the temperature inside the greenhouse right now. So you can see 24.9 degrees. But also it's quite important to monitor the humidity too. Maybe if it got too humid in there, we'd have to go out and open the door or something. It's nice to have on the dashboard here, and it looks pretty and impressive, I think. So that's why it's on the display right now. Okay, so now I want to tell you about my favourite gadget, and that's my robot lawnmower. Now, I did do another video all about this, which I will put a link to down in the description and probably somewhere up there above the screen. Because this is the Mammotion Yuka 2 Mini 1000. It's quite a mouthful of a name, but I'm going to turn the camera around now and show you my actual lawn, because if you remember from that video, this lawn was really quite patchy and messy at the time, and it's not the best lawn still, but it is so much better than it was before. And that robot lawnmower is doing an amazing job of keeping the grass cut nice and short. And if I go around here, this was really terrible, full of weeds and patchy, and it is still really terrible, full of weeds and patchy, but less so. It's got some grass growing through there. It's really difficult to show you on the camera actually, but there is genuinely grass starting to grow through amongst the weeds. And this is where she lives, and she is a she because she's called Mona Lisa, and she's a bit dirty at the moment. Let me get in closer. You can see there's a lot of dirt all over her, but she is a working robot, so you've got to give her a bit of leeway for that. And she just sits here under this canopy, and every now and then, every couple of days, I'll tell her to go and mow both the front and the back lawns. I have to go and open the side gate still because I've not automated that yet, but yeah, this is saving me a lot of effort and keeping our lawns looking a lot nicer than they would be if I'd been left to do it myself. So of course the lawnmower is also integrated into Home Assistant. Now if I go to settings, and oh, there is an update for the Mammotion integration here. If I go to devices and services and we search for Mammotion, there it is. You can see my Yuka Mini 2 1000 is all integrated. I'm obviously going to have to hide my email address that is just there, but you do need a separate email address for the account that you're using to log in on Home Assistant compared to the one that you're using on the app on your phone. If you use the same account, then it will log you out. So basically create yourself another email address, share the device from your phone with the second new email address, And you can use that new email address to sign in on Home Assistant without giving you any problems. And you get all of these different entities. So you can actually tell it which lawn you want to mow. You can, I mean, there's loads of stuff. Basically, this works really well, and by default it is cloud only. You can tell it to use Bluetooth if you want to. If you use Bluetooth, you're going to need lots of Bluetooth proxies nearby, so as when the lawnmower goes too far from your house, it still gets a signal. But I still use the actual app to control it manually. But even though this does work well, I still use it over on my garden dashboard so as I can populate these two cards here. Now let me show you what we have got in the way of cards. So if I edit that one here, this is called the Compact Lawnmower card, and it's also available from Hacks. You just tell it what your lawnmower is, entity is from the Mammotion integration. You tell it the camera, but you can add all your other entities in here. You have to add them all manually. It does try to detect them, but it gets them a little bit wrong. So what else have we got? The default view, enable the map view. Now I've enabled the map view on here, but I'll show you a problem I've got with that in just a second. Anything else I need to tell you about? Default actions from the buttons underneath. So start, pause and return. You can switch from the lawnmower to the camera view, which I have not got working in this card. Oh, it works. Look at that. Genuinely, this has never worked before, and I've just clicked on it on this demo and it started working. So you can see the camera view from the front of the lawnmower. That's brilliant. And then you've got this one here, which is a map view. Doesn't really show the actual lawns that you are mowing. It is basically just a dot on the open street view, I think it is. And then I have this separate card down here which is using OpenStreetMap, and if I zoom out a bit you can see front lawn, back lawn. It's giving you loads of information, and this does update in real time if you're using Bluetooth. I'm not using Bluetooth because if I enable Bluetooth in Home Assistant, all of a sudden I can't use Bluetooth in the app to control it. And I do like to drive it around and manually get patches that it might have missed and stuff like that. And it's a bit of a pain having to come in, disable Bluetooth on Home Assistant just so you can go back in and use it on the app temporarily. Now this card here is a custom map card. I based it on the configuration that was actually provided by the Mammotion integration on their GitHub page. I've tweaked it slightly just to match my own device and my own preferences, but it's more or less what they put in the README for the integration. Right, now I'm keeping my voice down a little bit now because I'm around the corner. I'm about to show you a little gadget that has been keeping us occupied for the last few weeks actually, and I'm going to zoom the camera up a little bit. Can you see that bird box up there? That is the Birdfy Nest. I think they call it the Birdfy Nest Duo now because it's got two cameras. It's got a camera on the outside looking at the front of the opening for the nest, and a camera inside so as you can see what's going on inside there. And at the moment there is a little family of blue tits living in there. I think there are 5 chicks and 2 adults, so it's getting quite crowded. They're very close to fledging, and if we watch this for long enough, then you will see some birds going out of there, or going in. Yeah, look, there you go. So unfortunately it doesn't connect to the rest of my home automation system. It is totally standalone, which is a bit annoying, but still, it is what it is. It does have a solar panel though, so it's kept itself charged ever since I installed it. So it's kept going over winter totally. I've not had to go up there with a power cable or a power bank and try and charge it up myself. It has just kept itself going all this time, which is brilliant. And it's incredibly entertaining watching all of the birds as they've built their nest, as they've laid eggs, as the eggs have hatched, and now the chicks are just about to fledge. So brilliant to watch. I highly recommend getting a smart bird nest. Right, let me show you another gadget, and I've got to climb around here, not the cat. This here, this is the Reolink solar floodlight. and it's sitting here pointing at the side gate to my garden and also the back door of the house. And I think this is quite an important sort of aspect for security cameras to cover in our house, because a few years ago a camera in this position caught a burglar trying to break in, and the footage was given to the police and it was used as part of the prosecution there, so it got a conviction. Now this camera here, I've actually done a separate review video on this, so you might want to go and check it out, because it's a floodlight, but we don't actually use it as a floodlight very often anyway. We have it set to manual so as we can turn it on and off if we need it, but it's got solar panel on the top to keep itself charged. It doesn't need any other power, it just runs off solar power, and it's quite a good quality picture. I think it does 2K video as well, so it's quite a decent resolution for a battery powered camera. But if you have seen that other video that I did reviewing this product, you're probably wondering, why is it here and not down at the bottom of my garden getting a full view of the back of my house, which is where it was before? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it got attacked by squirrels. Now, do you see that little mark there on the bottom left hand corner of the solar panel? Yeah, the squirrels started eating it, so I've had to actually put some silicone sealer there to stop the rain getting in so it doesn't get any more damaged. But yeah, I left it on the fence at the bottom of the garden, and I came back one day and it was sort of spun around on its side with a great big chunk taken out of the solar panel. So yeah, I had to move it here so as it didn't get attacked. Talking about solar panels being attacked by squirrels, let me show you what else they've done. Right, for this bit, I'm going to take you down to the bottom of the garden. Now, just there is where we had that solar floodlight cam mounted before. But if we, tripped over something, if we keep on walking down here, see this solar panel here? This solar panel, it powers the Hedgehog camera. And if you look closely, you can actually see that there is some hose pipe around the cable. And that's because this is the second solar panel I've had to install for it, because the squirrels keep attacking it. They really have got it in for this particular solar panel, and previously they chewed through the cable totally and stopped it working. So that was really annoying. But that cable runs all the way along behind this shed here, and you can see it pop out down here. Now I need to tidy that cable up. I don't like it on display, so I need to tuck it down the back of this fence somewhere. But it runs all the way through here, through some proper tubing, and into our hedgehog house just here. Now, unfortunately, so far there have been no hedgehogs moving in at all. There has been some other action, and if you want to see what's been going on in that hedgehog house, then visit my website speaktothegeek.co.uk and have a look at the Hedgehog Cam section, because there is a camera just inside this hedgehog house, and every hour it'll take a snapshot and upload it to my website. And I'm trying to save a little gallery of the best images that it captures. So yeah, go and check out the website if you want to see the Hedgehog Cam in action. So this is my little hedgehog house here, and I bought it from the RSPB website actually. I just thought this was the nicest looking of them all, because it's actually got a solid base inside just there as well. It's not just open to the dirt. But if I open the lid on it, I did check the camera beforehand and there was nothing in it that I could see, just in case, apart from that snail that's on the wall just there. But inside we've got this Reolink camera here. It's one of the smallest ones that I could find that they did, and it's battery powered, and it's obviously the other end of that is connected to the solar panel that's on the fence. So you may have noticed on this dashboard that I've got some camera images down at the bottom. And I'm not going to show you too close on that middle one there, which is from our back garden floodlight, because we've got our washing out on the line now that I'm recording this a little bit later on in the day. But obviously just here on the left we've got the Hedgehog House camera there, and over here on the right we've got the backdoor floodlight camera, the solar floodlight cam that I was showing you first of all. Now these three cameras are all added to the dashboard as, scroll down a bit, picture entity cards, which are essentially just a card that shows a camera image and an entity. So in the case of the Hedgehog house, we have got an image of the Hedgehog house, and the entity is the battery, which is at 100% right now. But in the case of the other two cameras, we've actually got the floodlights. So if I go to that one there, I can turn that floodlight on, and it's a little bit slow because it is battery powered and Home Assistant is in fact that is ridiculously slow. There we go. Yeah, the floodlight is now on. You can see it came on here, but also we've got a section up here called lights, which has got the back door floodlight on. So if I close that, I should be able to turn that off there straight off. Now I'll be honest here, I don't actually use these cameras normally on my dashboard. I don't actually like having the cameras on my Home Assistant dashboard. I find them a bit slow, and I prefer to actually open up the Reolink app to keep an eye on things. So I am genuinely just showing you here just to demonstrate a capability of what you can do if you wanted to have cameras on your dashboard. Oh, and remember I mentioned about the Hedgehog Cam being on my website? This is the web page here, so you go to speaktothegeek.co.uk/hedgehog-cam and you get the latest image of the Hedgehog camera on that page. And if you scroll down a bit to the bottom, there's an album with the best of. There's only 4 on here at the moment, but yeah, every time I get an interesting image, I'll put it in here for you. And you may have noticed these other 2 light entities here on my dashboard. One that is working and is supposedly blue right now, and another one that isn't working. Well, let's go back outside and I'll show you what those are all about. So next up, I want to take you back down to the bottom of my garden here, because this is actually quite a dark part of the garden, because it's basically blocked out by this plant here. You can see a spotlight just on the wall of the house there, but as I move around here, we don't get any light from that. We're basically in a shadow, and that's that conservatory just there. So as we look out of the conservatory window, this is a very dark part of the garden. So I've bought these little lights here, one there and one just there, and they are designed to sort of project light up onto the fence at night. Now these are from a company called Linkind, L-I-N-K-I-N-D, I think it's spelt. They weren't that expensive, but the reason I got them was because they are Bluetooth lights, and you can control them with an app on your phone. It's an app from a company called AI Dot. In fact, I'll show you that in a minute. But the main reason I got them was because I thought, oh, they're Bluetooth controlled. I must be able to control them from Home Assistant somehow. And I have sort of managed that, but let me show you the app first. Okay, so I've got this one spotlight here connected to the official app, and if I open it up, I should be able to turn it on, and it's projecting green light up onto my fence. Now I can go to, where can I go to? Oh, go to color there, and I can change that to red, and it's now projecting a red light or blue light or whatever I want really, and that works pretty well. There are some special effects here, some presets like twinkle, where it will start changing different colors, but these work best when you've got them got multiple lights all connected together. Now that was the first problem. I didn't realize these are actually not just Bluetooth, they are Bluetooth mesh, which is a slightly different protocol to normal Bluetooth, which means I can't just connect it straight back to Home Assistant. That's why I've got the second one here connected to Home Assistant. So let me just move the camera and show you that. So can you see this one here, Fence Light 2? Let me just show you that. I can turn it on, and you can see it's supposed to be red, but I don't know if you can see on the camera there, it's actually white. It did work, but it doesn't matter what I change this to, it stays at white. So I can turn it on and off, but I can't actually change the color. This is really frustrating, because when I first set this up, it did actually work perfectly. In fact, you can see the other light isn't working either, and that was working perfectly. Now what I've done is I've used a little component called a little project I found called BLE Mesh to MQTT, and I installed that on a little ESP32 module. Let me go and show you that. So this is it. This is my little ESP32 module that's running BLE Mesh to MQTT. And this is the little gadget that connects to those Bluetooth mesh lights down in the garden, and also connects to Wi-Fi and creates a link, a bridge if you like, between the lights and Home Assistant. So this is the BLE mesh to MQTT bridge web interface basically, and it should work brilliantly in theory. And if I go to this section here, BLE mesh, you can see it has detected garden fence light 02 and node 1, which was the first light actually. It worked the first time I set this up, and I was very pleased because I ended up with these two lights that I could control. I could set the color. If I hold my finger down, I should get the full interface. There we go. So I could actually set the color to say red, but now it just doesn't seem to work for me. It's trying to send the commands. I need to go through all this and figure out what it's trying to do. So I've wiped all of MQTT, I've reset it all, I've sent the discoveries again, and it's just having none of it. So it needs a lot of playing around. But yeah, essentially all you do with this is connect it to Wi-Fi here and connect it to your MQTT server on this side, and then enable auto provisioning, and it will detect your lights and add them in this provision section and send them over to Home Assistant, and they just become a light here that you can control. So if I go to settings, devices, just here, I know that they're called Fi because they're called Fi Plus Inc, but I've only got one in here, but there should be two. There should be this node 1, and it's just not provisioning it. I'm getting errors in the dashboard, in the logs of Home Assistant to say it's not working, which is a real shame. But yeah, it worked at first. It lasted a couple of days, and then it decided that it wouldn't control the nodes. For now, I think I'm going to have to leave them with the default app that they come with. Now these lights do work really well standalone with the official app, so much so that I am considering buying a couple more to put all the way across this fence here. So at night they sort of turn on a schedule when it starts to get dark, so I've got it set to 7 PM. They'll come on after 7 PM, and they will, if it's dark enough, and then they'll turn off automatically at midnight. I've got them set to different colours, so I'll put an overlay of what they look like at night. Actually, they look quite nice. I had hoped to get them working in Home Assistant properly, but you know, these things, they don't. Maybe it'll start working in Home Assistant eventually. Maybe I'll figure that out. Maybe the project will get updated to support them a bit better. But it's one of them things. I bought them as a bit of an experiment more than anything. But they are solar panel, solar panels. They've got solar panels on them, and they're solar powered, so they do keep charged up nicely. So this is a south-facing fence that they're on, so it does get a lot of sunlight in the day, which is good for keeping them charged up. But as a standalone light solution, they're very good. As a Home Assistant connected solution, less so at the moment, but watch this space. If that project does improve and they become more reliable, then I'll probably do a separate video all about them, because they have a lot of potential. Wednesday, are you planning on staying up there forever? Yeah? Do you know how to get down? Because I don't think you do. Am I going to get the ladders out now? Anyway, that's it for this video. This garden is still a work in progress, as I said before. Things like that green fence over there, I've got to repair that. That's all gone rotten. We want some more shrubs down here to sort of cover the ground where it's looking a little bit bare. And over in the greenhouse, I would love to put in a smart irrigation system. Maybe if we put a water butt on one side of the greenhouse, so it could collect water from the roof when it rains, and then we could pump it back in to water the plants inside. That would be quite neat. I've already said I want some more lights along there. We've got the camera, the Reolink camera up on the wall up there that gives us a nice sort of view of the whole garden for security reasons, and also it's our light in the winter when we need to come out here when it's really dark. What else? Yeah, I'm quite pleased with the bird nest. That's a really nice gadget to have. I would absolutely love it if that integrated with Home Assistant, so as I could get notifications of when things happened. But you know, at the moment it doesn't look like that's ever going to be likely. Anyway, the usual things, I want to say a massive thank you to my channel members and patrons. I think I'll put them there this week. So thank you to those guys for supporting the channel. If you'd like to get early access to my videos and some bonus content too, then check out the information in the description for details on joining. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and that's free, and like the video so as YouTube knows that it's a good video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.